Welcome to Bike Comparers. Today we'll be comparing the Royal Enfield Bullet 500 versus the Classic 350. Pricing and features. The Bullet 500 retails for 1.75 lakh rupees on road Delhi, which is a good 28,000 rupees more expensive than the Classic 350 costing 1.47 lakh rupees. In terms of features, both bikes miss out on a much needed rear disc brake. Performance and tractability. There is no replacement for displacement, they say. Looking at the spec sheet, we expected the Bullet 500 to leave the Classic 350 gasping for breath. But in reality, the gap is quite small. The Bullet 500 takes just over 12 seconds to accelerate from 0 to 100 kmph, which is 2 seconds quicker than the Classic 350. However, if you compare the cruising abilities of these two bikes, the Bullet feels far more relaxed than the Classic 350 at the same speed. That being said, both bikes turn into a vibrating mess above 80 kmph and make quite a racket at higher revs. Their famous thump is only audible while doing poser level speeds around city streets, and frankly, we find the so-called legendary thump itself to be quite an overrated thing. Reliability and after-sales service. It is no secret that Royal Enfield makes the least reliable motorcycles in the market. Worse still, they have been making essentially the same vehicle for over 50 years and still haven't succeeded in sorting out some of the major issues on their bikes. Apart from the excessive vibrations, other issues like rusting, starter motor and other electrical failures, chain sprocket wear out, oil leakages, loosening of spokes, brake wear and wobbling continue to haunt RE to this date. There is no logical linkage between these reliability issues and the charm of a 500cc long stroke thumper, and the fear of losing that charm as an excuse for not sorting out the issues can only be believed by people who are really low on IQ. Fuel efficiency. The Classic 350 was just under 5 kmpl more efficient than the Bullet 500 in our back-to-back tests. Resale and cost of ownership. Classic 350 constitutes over 80% of the sales of the entire Royal Enfield brand every month. Such inexplicable popularity means that it holds on to much better residual value than the Bullet 500. Overall, the Classic 350 is bound to be around 40,000 rupees cheaper than the Bullet 500 in terms of overall ownership costs post a usage of around 60,000 kilometers in 5 to 7 years of time. Handling and ride quality. We wonder why Royal Enfield has not used the Thunderbird's elliptical swing arm on the rest of its bikes. Even 100cc bikes like the Discover and Dream Yuga don't use a power T-spec tubular swing arm that the Classic and Bullet continue to use. Overall, the Enfield's chassis has a lot of flex by today's standards and destroys the handling as well as the ride quality of both these bikes. Due to the excessive flex, which causes problems like wobbling and instability, engineers have to make use of stiffer springs which give the bikes a painfully hard ride over bumps and ruts. Flex also causes their handling to become vague and unpredictable around the bends. Comfort and ergonomics. The Bullet 500 has a couple of key advantages over the Classic 350 when it comes to seating comfort. First is the seat. Classic's bicycle-inspired seat has been highly compromised in favor of its styling. It does not provide the adequate support and causes soreness in the most uncomfortable places on long rides. And don't be under the wrong impression about those under-seat springs which are of absolutely no use in terms of comfort. Bullet's age-old seat design works far better, and its pillion seat with its little backrest is also much more comfortable than the Classic's optional pillion seat. That brings us to the verdict. The thing is, if you are thinking of buying one of these bikes purely for the swag, why not go all the way? Especially since the Bullet has a couple of practical advantages over the Classic 350. It is a more relaxed cruiser than the Classic 350 on the highways and has far better seating comfort for the rider as well as the pillion. Also, it is much more exclusive than the Classic 350, which is increasingly turning into a common man's RE. It also looks more classic than the Classic and is the most affordable 500cc bike in the entire Enfield range. Amongst the two, the Bullet 500 is definitely our pick of this test.